So today I'm going to show you how to take a couple of samples, loop them, load them into your MODX, and then be able to play all of those samples at different pitches controlled by the knobs. So that essentially what you've got is like maybe a 3 or 4 channel tape player with individual speed controls for each of those channels. Something my friend Rod has been wanting to do for a long time. Alright, so first thing you got to do, you're going to take a USB stick, put it in your MODX. There's a spot on the back here. I'm just reaching around there. Okay. And give it a second. It says connecting to USB device. Then we're going to hit utility. And we want to go to content type user file, and we're going to say save as new file. Give it a name, and let's just call it my file. Whoops. Hit done. So we're almost done here. All right. It says completed. Reach around the back here. Pull out the USB stick, and we'll stick that in the computer. Okay. So I've got the USB stick in the computer. That shows up here as this MODX REH. If I double click on that, you can see there's the myfile.x8u file. So what I'm going to do, go to my applications folder here. I'm going to find the Montage Waveform Editor. Double click on that. Comes up. And then I'm going to go over here and click on File, Open, and navigate to my USB stick. There's the myfile.x8u, and the x8u is just the extension that is for MODX user files. Hit open, takes a moment, loads it up. And so you can see there's a couple tabs here. There's waveforms, arpeggios, curves, performances, live sets, and you know, these are just all settings that I've created on the MODX as I've been using it. So I'm going to go to this waveforms tab. I see I've got a couple things loaded in here already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple more to make this this multi-tape patch. So I'm going to go back over here, and these are all just waveform files, and they're just Windows, 16-bit stereo audio files. So I'm going to take each one of these one at a time, click this and drag it over, and place it into an empty slot. And you see that pops up. That's a waveform, and by default it's assigned to the entire keyboard, and that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it that way. The trick is I want to change this little setting here where it says mode from one shot to loop. Okay, so that means that the sound file will just loop over and over and over again for as long as the key is held down. And I'm going to do the same thing here for this next clip. And go in here and change this to from one shot to loop. And I'm actually going to double click on this, which opens up this waveform editor, and click on this little, this little icon right here. It says normalize, and hit OK. And that just brings the volume up so that all the clips are kind of the same volume. Hit OK. Helicopter sample. Put that over here. And again, I'm going to do a real quick thing here. I'm going to edit this this helicopter sample a little bit because it's got a little bit of silence at the beginning and the end. I wanted that to loop better. So to edit this helicopter sample, I'm going to just double click. That opens up the sort of sample editor window. And you've got this start point, loop point, and end point. Now it's a little tricky because I need to click on this and slide this until I see the line hit the beginning. Right there, okay? And same for the end point. Gonna bring that back roughly there. Okay, and just like the other sample, I'm going to go in here and hit the normalize. Hit OK. You see that amplifies it. OK. And then don't forget, we want to change the mode from one shot to loop. And I've got one more sample over here. It's just sort of a bell loop. Bring that over here, drag it into this empty slot. And again, change it from one shot to loop. I'm going to double click. Go in here and change my start point. Right to the beginning. And I'm going to change my end point. I'm going to bring that in somewhere around in here. And you can actually hit the little play button here to audition this. Perfect, perfect. I'll hit stop. And again, normalize. Okay, okay. So now we've got we've added those four sounds into our user bank here. So all I'm going to do now is save this, and this is just going to save right over top of my original file on my USB stick if I hit save. And it takes a couple seconds here because it's depending on how much audio data you have, it takes a little while to process. Okay, that took about a minute, but down here at the bottom of the screen, it does say ready. And sorry for the jerky audio there. This is all done by hand. So now if I go back over here to my, this is my USB stick. So I've still got this myfile.x8u. The time's been updated that I've saved over it. So I want to close that. I want to eject it. Drag it here to the little eject icon, which also says trash on my version of OS X. So now we'll take the USB stick out of the computer and we'll put that back into the back of the MODX again. So now I've got my USB stick that has my updated user file on it, that myfile.x8u. I'm going to put that into the USB port on the back of the MODX, which is kind of behind the data wheel here. Sort of feel for it, a little slot there, and there you go. And then it should come up here in a second. Yes, connecting to USB device. Now I need to like load that in. So I can go here and hit utility. And let's see, I believe it is load. Yes, load. And then content type, user file. Oh, it's at the top, user file. Okay. That's my USB stick and myfile.x8u. And it says its current data will be overwritten. So everything that's on the stick will replace what was in the keyboard, but that's what we want because it's got our new samples in it. So now I hit load. And it takes a moment. Okay, so that's all done. So now I'll show you how to put this patch together. So to build this patch, I'm going to first hit category. And I'm going to go over here to init category. And I want to pick init normal. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the performance home button. And that takes me to the editing screen for this initial patch. So I want to select, this whole patch is just going to be in a single voice. So I just want to select that voice and then hit edit. And now I've got the main screen for this voice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of those 4 waveforms that I created and assign them to each one of them to one of the first 4 elements of this voice. So I'm going to hit element 1 right here, and I'm going to make sure element 1 is on, which it is, and then I'm going to hit this guy, and then hit category search, And then for category, I want the bank to be the user bank. Hit that little X, and then all the sounds in the user bank. And they should show up. And here they are. So these ones at the top are some ones I loaded from before from a previous performance I'd done. So I'm going to start with this AEIOU waveform. And then again, just hit home. Actually, I should have hit just back, but that's okay. I'll select this, hit edit. Okay, now you can see that it's assigned to this waveform. And right now, that waveform is going to play across the whole keyboard. Okay, and that's great, but that's not really what we want. But so what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this up so that in the center of the keyboard here, I'm going to have this sample play here, and I'm going to map the other 3 samples to play on the next 3 keys. So that to play the whole thing, I only need to use these 4 fingers to trigger. So what I'm going to do is on this sample, I need to change the note limit. I'm going to use keyboard input. I'm going to say start here and go no higher than, oops, so that goes from that, yeah, sorry, back up. When I hit that key, at C, that selects the lower note limit as C3, and then the upper note limit, I'm going to make the C sharp. See, C sharp. Okay? And I'm going to turn this back off because it's really easy to mess this up. So now that should only play on those 2 notes. Okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing for the other 4 sounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hit element 2. And you'll notice element 2 is turned off because by default only element 1 is on. So I'm going to turn this on. And then I want to hit here to select the sound. I do a category search. Again, I'm in my user bank. I'm already in user bank. Hit all. And I'm going to pull up this sound of a recording of a creak that I did. And I'm just going to hit the up button this time. Okay. Now that's going to play across all keys again. So, and my vocal sample there is going to also play here. And it looks like I forgot to loop my vocal sample, but that's okay. Anyway, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say note limit, keyboard, and this time I want to do the D as the lower note limit. Hit over here, and the D sharp as the upper note limit. Turn the keyboard off. Okay, element 3. I'm going to, again, turn it on. I'm going to hit the sample name to select, go to category search, user bank, all. I got this helicopter sample, hit the up button there, and again, note limit, keyboard mode. Now I want to do just E, and the upper limit is also E. Okay, turn this off once more, element 4. Turn it on, click here to select, category search, user bank, all, and I'm going to do this bell pattern, and up, and again, lower note limit, keyboard, this time I'm going to do F, upper note, I'm going to do F sharp, just for the heck of it. Okay, so now I should have 4 different samples on 4 different keys. So here's my vocal. This should be my creak. This will be my helicopter. And this will be my bell pattern. And you see it does loop. So I must have forgotten to set the loop mode on this guy, and that's okay. Anyway, all right. So now the next thing is what I want to do is be able to adjust the pitch of each of these guys individually. Okay, to adjust the pitch, what I want to do is I want to have each of the 4 assignable knobs control the pitch of each of those 4 sounds independently. So what I'm going to do, if I go back here where I was just editing the sound, I want to go to the common, the part common, and now this lets me bring up this mod control menu. And so I'm going to do this kind of the easy way. If I go here, make sure this auto select is lit up, and it's probably a little hard to read on the screen here. There, auto select. And then what I can do is wiggle this knob. Okay. And you see that that pulled up assignment knob 1. And now I need to do a new assignment. So here where it says control assign, I hit plus. And so I need to tell it what it is I want to control. So I'm going to click on this guy, and the thing I want to control is in the individual element, I want to control the coarse pitch. So I hit coarse, okay, and then I hit this X here to close, whoops, sorry. Hit the X to close out, and I bumped that, so I just hit mod control again. So now you can see assignable knob 1 is controlling the coarse pitch, but it's controlling the coarse pitch of all 8 elements, and I only want it to control the coarse pitch of that element 1, which is my vocal sample. So I'm going to go in here and turn. Helps to look at the screen rather than looking at the video. All right, I'm going to go in here and turn all of these off. Okay, so now when I play this note, and this is going to be a little hard to hold the phone and play the note all at the same time, but if I hit the note and I turn this, you can see that the knob is controlling the pitch of that sample. Now one thing I want to make sure I do too is I want to be able to pitch it up and down. So down here, I'm going to change this from polarity unipolar to bipolar. And I'm also going to go here to this ratio and then go to my data wheel and turn that all the way up. Okay, and that's going to give me the maximum scaling of pitch for that knob. Okay, so now what I need to do is do the same thing again for the other knobs. And I believe, can I do this? Yes. So if I just twist knob 2, it brings me up a new screen. It says assignable knob 2. Again, control assign. I want to go here and say assign to element coarse. Hit the little X. And now I want assignable knob 2 to control the pitch of element 2 only. So I turn off 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are all off. Again, I'm going to go bipolar. Shoot. What did I do? I bumped something. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So go here and hit bipolar, ratio, again 63. All right, and let me just check assign knob 1. Okay, so yes, assignable knob 1 is controlling the coarse pitch of element 1. Assignable knob 2 is controlling coarse pitch of 2. Okay, so I'm going to go wiggle knob 3. Now it says assignable knob 3, again plus, and change this to element coarse pitch, hit the X, oops, element coarse pitch X, and I want element 3 on this time, so just element 3, again bipolar, ratio 63, and once more wiggle knob 4 and add that again, element coarse, hit the X, and I just want number 4, bipolar, ratio 63. Okay, And at this point, I'm going to hit up. Okay, and now's a good time to save. So I'm going to hit Store. And I will say Store as a new performance. Give it a name. I'm going to just call this tape deck, because it's like I have 4 tape reels. Hit Done. Okay. So, one tricky thing on the MODX is that these assignable knobs, so even though I've got this assignment lit up, there's like, you can have them assigned. If I hit this, the whole performance is selected, and so now these are like the whole performance knobs. What I really want to do is I want to go in and I want to select this part. So now these 4 knobs are just controlling that part. So if I hit a note here, this will be my helicopter, I think. Right. And I've got a sustain pedal here. This you almost kind of need one of these for this. I'm going to hit the sustain, I'm hitting my sustain pedal to keep that loop going. But now, and I can get my next sound going. And my next sound. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is be able to control the volumes of these things individually, and that's actually easy. What I want to do is go over here and hit the element, so the element is lit up, and now these 4 faders control the individual volumes of those four sounds. So I'm just going to go ahead and hammer all 4 of these. Hit my sustain pedal, and now I've got individual control. Now this, I forgot to loop this one, so it's not still playing, but there's my creak, my helicopter, my bells, okay, so I went back in and fixed that loop point and tidied up some of the other loop points and redid this just to make it the sound better, just to show you kind of more polished product. So I've got all the faders at 0 here, selected an element in 1 through 4, so each one of these individually controls the volume of each part, or rather of each element, sorry. And so if I go in here right now with all of those at 0, I'm just going to hit all 4 of these, go down here and hit my sustain pedal. All 4 sounds are latched in. I can bring them up individually. No, I think my foot slipped off the pedal. Anyway, that's all there is to it.